need 2 people to evaluate Shannon. 1,
2. Did you get that then?
Yep.
Okay.
ready when you are.
So when I was 12, I traveled to Boston, Massachusetts with my family, and I became really fascinated with American history and how it started. And last semester, I took History 1301, and so we talked a little bit about the Boston Tea Party. And so sitting in that class and then looking back on our trip, it was really cool to see how everything lined up. So I'm going to talk about how the Boston Tea Party started, what it consisted of, and then the after effects of what happened. So the Boston Tea Party was on December 16th, 1776, and the American colonists were really angry with the fact that they were being taxed without representation, which basically meant that Britain was taxing them and they were not having any kind of voice in their government, according to Julia Kagan from Investopedia. And they were being taxed basically because Britain was in debt and wanted the colonists to pay for that debt. And so America wanted to rebel. And actually there are 2 acts that they were being taxed on, which was the Stamp Act of 1765 and the Townshend Act of 1767, which basically taxed like essentials as like oils, glass, and stuff like that. And actually the Tea Act and the Townshend Act were the last straw for the colonists, according to Kelly Erb from Forbes. So these acts really took it too far for the colonists and pushed them over the edge. And Britain thought they were reasonable, but America did not. So they decided to rebel, but they had to figure out how. And they were angry that Britain was taking advantage of them and their money. And so they eventually decided to throw all the tea into the harbor, which was led by Samuel Adams. And according to the Boston Tea Party by Beatrice Brooks, they planned multiple meetings, and one of them was on November 29th, but they had to move it to a different hall because so many people showed up. And this is actually one of the halls that they had a meeting in, that we took a picture of when we were there. And the governor told them to stop blocking ships because, so one of the things that they decided to do was to block the ships in the harbor, and the governor told them to stop, and they of course refused. And according to the Boston Tea Party by Beatrice Brooks, 5,000 people showed up on December 16th, and they wanted to do a peaceful protest, but they knew that if they were too peaceful, Britain wouldn't take them serious. So a large group of men decided to dress up as Native Americans, and they boarded ships with 342 chests of tea, according to an article called The Boston Tea Party from Historian Editors. And there were a bunch of ships in the harbor that were just kind of sat by and didn't do anything. They were British ships. And the American colonists dumped $18,000 worth of tea into the harbor, which is about $1 million today, according to an article also from the Boston Tea Party by the Historian Editors. So the hatred that Britain had for the American colonists just continued to grow as fast as a blink of an eye. And Parliament wanted to punish them for rebelling against Big Brother. So they decided to force more taxes on them, like the Coercive Acts and the Quartering Acts. And according to the editors from the Americana, acts shut off sea trading pending payment of tea. So they thought that these acts would punish the colonists, but instead it united them even more, which was not good for Britain. So another thing that it led to was the Revolutionary War. So even though it was a small act, it really had a ripple effect in leading to the Revolutionary War. And Britain's hatred really started at the Boston Tea Party. So America's rebellion, Britain really didn't like because they could no longer use them for their money, which means that they would have to figure out another way to pay off their debt. So even though the Boston Tea Party seemed very small and it irrelevant. It was very risky and very serious during that time, according to how the Boston Tea Party forever changed the U.S. from Chloe Weishart. So it was a huge mark in America becoming free, and it really sparked our road to freedom. And we were founded on the American dream and the fact that the colonists followed that dream and really decided to act on it should inspire us all to strive for our goals.